You guys know who I am, Michael Coley. I am the Warrior Coach, and I help men reclaim their warrior and find the best version of themselves. So, Matt has been gracious enough with his time today to share his experience. And what I mean by his experience is that he's been part of Brotherhood now for how long, Matt?
Oh,
4 or 5 months?
5 months, I believe.
5 months.
I know it was cold when I started coming, and it's warm now. So
Right?
we'll go by the seasons.
Exactly. And Matt is actually going to be joining me in facilitating our Warrior Brotherhood moving forward. Both our in-person and our online training program for it. And I figured it'd be a great opportunity for you to meet him, but to also understand his experience with Brotherhood, up till now, kind of why he came in. So Matt, what actually brought you in? Because you and I met hugging trees.
Yeah, talking to trees.
Right? We did. It's not even a joke. Like,
Yeah.
we met hugging trees.
It was a shamanic workshop we met in, I don't even know,
Yeah.
Lawrence?
Methuen. Yes.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
I saw that man across the room, and I knew there's something special about him. And that
Right.
was,
Same.
I don't know,
I was like,
3 years ago.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
about a few years ago.
Yeah, it was during
And,
COVID.
Yeah, they sent us on an activity, and one of those activities was connecting with nature and actually communing with the tree. So we joke about it now, but we reconnected about 6 months ago, and you were inquiring about the Brotherhood and the men's program, and had some questions there. I was able to answer. Came in, and from the first night, he said, "I'm in. This is great."
Yeah.
So I figured, I turned it over to him. Kind of. What brought you in beforehand?
Well, I mean, it's right in the name. It's right in the title. It's that brotherhood. I think that's one of the things that I've always struggled with is having deeper connections with men. A lot of my friends, a lot of my clients, a lot of my healing journey has been in the presence of the feminine or working with women.
Right.
And they're wonderful, but part of the integration for a man needs how do you bring it all together and, one, connect with your masculinity.
Right.
A big part of that is being around other men who are on the same journey. And, I'm sober, have been for about 10 years, and it's hard to make depth friendships or any friendships once you get past 30 if you don't drink or you don't play sports. I don't really care about sports myself.
I got, not to interrupt you,
Sure.
but I got so many few friends these days that are not part of the Brotherhood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the biggest thing, is really coming together with a bunch of men who are trying to uplift themselves. Because when men come together like that, it's a different power and a different energy, especially doing so much work with females. You don't have to worry about your presence being too much. Whatever your expression is, being around other men, we're designed to handle that. We can receive that much differently. And one of the things with Brotherhood is you're not always going to make, everybody here is here to teach you something, everybody in the Brotherhood. And if you're getting triggered by one of the brothers, by somebody here, that's something for you to work on. And part
It's
of
actually
what we
a good
do,
thing.
Yeah, because we're not, out in that world, there's so many different people in diversity. Like, how do you navigate that? How do you navigate the complexities of people you might not get along with? Well, you come in this room and you can simply say to somebody, when you speak, when you said that, I didn't feel comfortable with that. I felt it. Take the ownership of me instead of projecting it out onto somebody else.
Right.
And in this group, we're all here for each other and we're all working together. And we go on events, we have a little messenger we keep in touch with in between it, and it's really helpful because when you're doing this work and you start to heal yourself, not a lot of other people out there are doing it.
No.
So eventually you could start to feel, I know I definitely felt like the crazy person at my job, with my friends, with my family, all these different things. Because nobody else is doing this stuff. They're not talking about emotional wounding of the feminine, the masculine, energetic wounds, generational trauma, shadow work. Yeah. They don't know what any of that is, and when I start to talk to them, I could see their eyes glaze over. Especially because we're up in the Northeast, right? We're out of Boston.
Yep.
Not the most spiritually minded of towns.
we're kind of tough around here.
Yeah.
But it's so true, being in the Northeast area of the country, it seems like we have this persona up here where, especially for men, it's all about sports, right? I mean, we got a lot of the other parts of the country might hate us, but we got some really amazing sports teams here. And they've won a lot of championships collectively, right? And that's the mentality and the culture that's created here. And because of that, there's a lot of drinking, there's a lot of sports games, tailgating, there's a lot of barbecues, there's a lot of those things. And most of the things that I get from men, and I don't know what you do, but when I ask them, like, when they start working with me or start coming into Brotherhood, one of the things I get all the time is that, I can sit down with my friends and have a beer, but we never ever get to that point where we're talking about the stuff that we all know is inside here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, because you're having the beer and then you have six, and then the conversation's over,
Yeah.
the night's done, and you go the next day and nothing was solved. Nothing came out. Nothing came from it.
Yeah.
So
there's a big difference when you're in the outside world and you ask a man, how are you doing? But when you come into this setting, we genuinely want to know how you're doing.
Yeah.
And we're not going to rush. You take your time. Let what comes out needs to come out. That's the most supportive thing about this brotherhood, is that everybody is genuinely moving at a slower pace to connect deeper with themselves.
Yeah.
To let those feelings come up. I know I said it, feelings.
Yeah.
It's that scary word, especially as dudes.
Human emotions.
Yeah, we all want to bury that down, stuff it down, repress it, drink it, have sex. Don't address your feelings. Right?
What's that scene? I want you to shove that way, Ricky Bobby. I want you to shove that way down there and never ever bring it up again.
Never talk about it again.
Never talk about it again.
Never ever.
Yeah, never ever.
That's what we've been conditioned as men to do. I know I did that. I mean, before I got into the healing world and the personal development, I used to be an electrician. It's a great job, but nobody in that space is talking about their feelings. Nobody cares about their pain. Nobody cares about anything. Yeah. Shut your mouth, do your job.
Yeah. I was in the construction world. I was a union bricklayer. And I can tell you right now, that's exactly the mentality. I know plenty of you that are watching out there, if you have one of those trades jobs, you probably know exactly what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So, Matt, you told me that you were part of a lot of men's groups, or you went to other men's groups and stuff like that. So what was the difference between those and what we had going on?
Yeah. So I've been to a couple of in-person men's groups, and I've been to a lot of online men's groups. The biggest thing I was looking for is brothers around where I was. It's great to connect with people all around the country. Like if you go traveling, you can meet people all around. You get a friend in every state. But there's a difference between actually being able to call somebody and say, hey, you want to meet up? Go for a hike, grab a cup of coffee, talk things through. But not only that, it's a lot of the men's groups I was a part of, they didn't work towards anything. It would be a loose structure. We're all here to learn how to become a better man, to lead ourselves in a better masculine, because that's the nature of men's work.
Yeah.
And what I saw a lot of it was kind of wishy-washy, no real energy. Everybody comes in, you just share what you're going through. Nobody's going to help you. Nobody's going to hold you accountable. There was no direction. There was no purpose to it. And here, it's not like that. Here, we have it structured where we have topics we're going to talk on. We're going to hold each other accountable. That's one of the other things, is we have that accountability buddy, which is so helpful because it's so easy to go back outside of this container.
Right.
And just go back to your life and just do whatever you want. So here, it was really that accountability, the depth of everybody here, and everybody willing to work towards that goal of forward momentum, forward growth. Because a lot of men say they want it, but then when it comes time to actually do the work, they're nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
And I've been like that too in a past version of myself, so I'm not shaming anyone.
No, I mean, we both have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to be ready to do this work. It can be confronting, but it's the most rewarding thing.
Yeah. So, talk to me a little bit about something that you've taken away from brotherhood, that you have worked on yourself, if you don't mind sharing.
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest thing for me is sharing other men, sharing with other men, feeling safe and vulnerable to be heard. Because a lot of my wounding, a lot of my traumas has come from men. Okay. Being bullied in the past, different things like that, sexual trauma, physical trauma with that. And so being able to actually feel safe around a group of men was a big thing, especially when I stopped drinking. I didn't
Numb yourself.
I didn't numb myself anymore. So I was very comfortable being around men when I was drinking because I was numb, didn't notice anything, didn't feel anything. But once I stopped that, I had to really work on those triggers and really work on those wounding. And this was a place that allowed for that, because I know everybody here is here to grow and here to heal. And that's where the secret sauce is, the magic sauce. When guys come together and support each other, I'm learning that's when true growth happens, because it goes into nervous system regulation, right? To get into those parasympathetic states, there's also a social component that's needed, feeling safe, feeling heard with people. So this brotherhood group, tremendous for that. It's really helped me improve my relationships with my father, with my male friends in my life. Some of them I'm not friends with anymore, but that's what happens. When you start to do this work, people are going to fall by the wayside because people start to get triggered by you. You start to talk about what you're going through, what you're experiencing, and some people don't want to hear that because it raises something up in them they're not ready to talk about.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest part of this work is that you end up leaving some people behind,
Mm.
and that's okay. I know many of you are out there like, well, I don't want to leave anybody behind. You know, it's unfortunate if you can't have growth and not have something left behind. And don't think that it's quote unquote leaving it behind. It's just not traveling at the same speed you are right now, or it's not on your path. You know, if you reframe that a little bit to that, then you'll understand it. It makes more sense to you, and it doesn't sound so negative. You know. So, how's that work in brotherhood? The things that you've been able to confront and have helped with. How's that helped you kind of in day-to-day life? Has that changed kind of your interactions with people outside of brotherhood?
Yeah, I think it's changed my interactions a lot because I don't feel compelled to be a people pleaser anymore. I think that's a big thing. I don't feel compelled to have surface level conversations with a lot of people. You know, obviously if you're just passing, you're not gonna dive into getting into somebody's, you know, how they're really doing in the day. But
True.
Sitting down with another person and actually holding space with them and being able to talk to them and say, hey, what's going on with you? And then when they give you that surface level response, going like, no, I'm serious. What's going on with you?
Right.
You know, that's been really helpful. And also just being around that, it's made me feel a lot safer walking around in the world today. Yeah, because I know that my nervous system is starting to get repaired and repatterned, that all men are not threats. Right?
And that was
a huge thing for me. Yeah, huge thing. Because that's how I was walking around before this. A lot of the work that I'd done, it was fine. That's why I was drawn to working with the feminine, because they're all safe. They're smaller than me.
Right.
I know they're not a threat. But then you get into the men's work, there's going to be some guys who are bigger than you. Same size. Might be stronger, might be trained in martial arts, but knowing that they're not going to hurt me.
Right.
Feeling more comfortable on that, I was able to go out my day to day and just feel a lot more happy in my life without having to deal with that stress, that anxiety of, oh shit, is somebody going to hurt me?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's deep. Yeah. So I hope that helps somebody out there right now in understanding that piece of it. I guess to kind of start to end it off, what advice would you give someone who is looking for something like this or a change in their life?
I mean, if you're looking for a change in your life, you want to come in. You're going to be nervous. So the biggest piece of advice is, if you feel fear towards something like this, go with it.
Yeah.
Because your body, your mind, your nervous system, it doesn't want to change because the familiar is comfortable. And, you know, Mike talked about, leaving people behind. And a big part of that is you're also leaving yourself behind when you don't do this work.
Past version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're leaving yourself behind. You're also leaving that self behind where, by not making these changes, you're staying comfortable, you're staying safe. But your life is meant to be lived and experienced. And you can't do that from safety.
No.
It's like leaving your mom's house. You got to get out of there.
You have to.
You got to do that work. So if you're on the fence about something like this seems strange, this seems weird. Your body right now, you might feel a little tensing in the stomach. You might feel a little uncomfortable. Like, ooh, I don't want to do this. This seems weird. You know you owe it to yourself to make these changes. Right? So come in. Huge. Check it out.
That's huge. Matt, thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
I hope everybody has gotten a really good understanding of Matt's experience, how your experience could be, and obviously your situation is different than his. Your situation is different than mine. Whatever you may be going through, whatever struggles, whatever challenges, but regardless of any of that, the same story holds true in brotherhood. It's all about community, and it's all about making sure that we expand each other, meaning that we help each other grow and face those struggles together.
Call them forward.
Call them forward.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we thank you for spending some time with us, and we'll see you soon, and you'll see Matt as part of our brotherhood.
Yeah, you will.
All right. Enjoy. Thank you, Matt.
Take care.